Hey everybody, it's Wiz, and I want to talk today about the mainline Mass Effect games. Mass Effect is known for its in-depth cast, and that extends, of course, to the NPCs and some of those fan favorite characters that we see 2 or 3 times in each game, but nothing really sticks with anybody more than the main party. And the main party is great in all 4 games, but all of them have an element that I feel could have been added to feel a little bit more complete. With the exception of Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 felt pretty full with 12 people, but it'd be kind of weird to leave out only one of the 4 games. So I wanted to talk today briefly about one party member that I would add to the team as a permanent companion for each of the 4 mainline Mass Effect games, and then using my feelings there, craft the one character that I believe I will wish was added to 5, as in, this is a character that I want for 5 that I think won't be added. Alright, so Mass Effect 1, the party was a little bit formulaic in the right way, I think. There were 6 different classes, and each party member fills out one of those class slots. So as far as utility goes, they're kind of set, and for that reason it is kind of hard to add someone else. But at the same time, Mass Effect 1 has the minor issue of using the meeting room a few times in the game, and it never actually being full. So it'd be kind of nice to fill out those chairs for at least 1 or 2 of the meetings. But much more importantly than that, the game, it's the first game of the franchise, and they're introducing you to these major species, obviously humans, but also Garrus, who is as your only Turian party member in the first game, representing the Turian species to you, and giving you, even though he considers himself a bad Turian, he's giving you the viewpoints of the Turian species. We can look at him as a scope of what the Turians are typically like, and ask him those questions. And that's really important for this type of game, because we need to know about the perspectives of every alien race, but especially the ones who will be major to the game. And as the players, we don't know who's going to be major. But we have a pretty good place to start using the Council. Turians, Asari, and Salarians. Well, other species that ended up being important, at least in the trilogy, were of course the Krogan, because the genophage is a pretty major thing going on for all 3 games, and it's not just something in the background that happened in the past, it becomes a major issue on Vermeer. It's a big part of Grunt's entire existence, and then in 3 it has a major role. So, introducing us to Rex early on was very important, and then Tali as a Quarian, the Quarian's relationship with AI, specifically the Geth, but they do go further than that, is central not only to the trilogy, but it's also the reason Andromeda was possible. So, when one of the main themes in the Mass Effect trilogy was the organics versus synthetics, and why that versus isn't necessary, why we can work together and function better together, Shepard can even directly tell the Reapers that we don't need to fight anymore. Shepard on Rannoch can even tell the Reapers that we don't need to fight anymore. So an early introduction to a Quarian squad mate was also great. There's no one that I would really take out. I know people will instantly point to the humans, but Ashley's kind of important to keep us grounded in the average human, and Kaidan is our first biotic human that we meet, unless we play as a biotic. But biotic humans have a very different history than real-life humans. So they're both really important perspectives to have, and I don't think that the game would really function the same way without either of them. So for my additional squad mate, I think we needed a Salarian, if that wasn't obvious. Specifically, and I know this one would be a hard sell, I think we should have had a very orthodox Salarian who was pro-genophage and didn't feel bad about it. Mordin in Mass Effect 2 would go a little further in that he actually had a hand in the renewal of the genophage, but this is someone that I think should be much younger, who grew up just being told it was okay. We'd have 3 games with this person, not in our party, but at least as someone we see once in a while. So depending on how BioWare wanted to write him, this person could either change and learn why that wasn't okay, or stick firmly on his ground and become a problem. Maybe he gets mad if we cure the genophage in 3, or maybe he's pushing for the cure by 3. Either way, I think we needed to see the Salarian perspective. And aside from just the genophage, I think we should have had someone on our team who was very analytical, and we kind of got that with Liara, but most of her more calculated personality came out in 2 and 3. So in Mass Effect 1, I feel like the cold and calculated aspect was kind of missing. I don't even mean this person specifically had to always be cold and uncaring about anything, but a little bit more on that end, I think, is what I was hoping, or is what I would add. Kira, he already exists in the game, and kind of functions as someone who could have been that party member. If on Vermeer we save him, and then it doesn't solve my first minor complaint, but it still gives us the Solarian perspective. The only thing is they would have to tweak him a little bit because he really doesn't have a stance on the genophage. But he's pretty willing to support Shepard when Shepard's going to go against it, so we know where he stands at least a little bit. But still, he's a beloved person. He's loyal to Shepard. I mean, he already feels like he could have been there with him for the beginning of his journey. Except Kira, he is not a companion. Well, that's the one thing I wish we had for Mass Effect 1. For Mass Effect 2, the squad mate I would have liked to see. Honestly, I want a hard-hitting Batarian. For the suicide mission, we already have kind of all of our roles filled. My idea would be kind of like Zaid and Garrus. He would be one of the heavy hitters. But if you had 3 heavy hitters, or actually Grunt is one, so if you had 4 heavy hitters, then the hold the line math would be pretty simple. But you could make it a little bit harder to adjust for the fact that there's this extra party member. But the reason I think we needed like a bruiser-style Batarian is because we see them so frequently as anti-human and against anything we do or any move we make. Bollock specifically is shown to be pretty horrifying. In Mass Effect 3, he can be a tentative ally, but still not a squad mate. It would be nice to have that one person that cares about Shepard and Shepard can see eye to eye with, to give us a way to learn more about the caste system and see them as more than slavers early on before Shepard is forced to make the choice he has to make in Arrival. Not that it was really a choice and not that he would do anything differently, but it would at least make it hit home a little bit harder for us. If I was going to pick somebody from the games to add, then I would probably say Bray. He's got connections to Arya, so we kind of have that aspect where he's doing reports on us or something. But he's also not as good as Arya. So, like if Arya was following Shepard throughout all of Mass Effect 2, Suicide Mission would be easy. Arya and Shepard together would just blow through everything. But Bray's below her and answers directly to her, so I think that'd be more fun. And then a loyalty mission could just be something about getting supplies for Omega or settling debates on Omega, something like that, where we get to see more of the underworkings of Omega. Maybe he could be like a mixture of Renegade and Paragon, so his loyalty mission is criminal-related activity for Omega. But, it's Omega. It's kind of what you expect there, so it's not like that bad. And he prefers to do it in the peaceful way. But then he'll go up there and just beat a person down if they don't listen. That's kind of where I would like a Batarian squad mate's loyalty to be. For Bray specifically, he's a really relaxing, calm person from what we see. So, he might fit that role. And that's really just a personal thing, I think. Alright, and what we were missing from Mass Effect 3? The answer is Grunt. I really think Grunt should have joined. And I know that he can die in 2, or just not even be woken up in 2. But that's not really my fault. If I chose not to wake him up, that's on me. And if I made a mistake and he died, that's on me. The whole world shouldn't be punished as not having Grunt on your team. But Miranda too. I mean, at the end of Mass Effect 3, you get some pretty sensitive information from almost out of nowhere. I think it would have made a lot more sense if that came from Miranda. And, maybe if you don't save her, then they have some sort of workaround for it, of course, like they always do. Like the one that's in the game where some of your technicians are just like, hey, we've been studying Cerberus. That totally should have been Miranda, and then the technicians randomly studying them would be the backup to kind of adjust for the fact that she might have died. Anyway, I think that we should have gotten Miranda and Grunt on the team, even if Miranda was only there for the last 20 minutes. But barring them, since BioWare clearly didn't want to put Mass Effect 2 companions back, a Krogan in general, I mean, It could almost have been a recurring joke where every Mass Effect game has a different Krogan party member, even if the other ones show up and let us hang out. With Arlac Company being formed, we could have gotten whoever was rejected at being the captain, like Grunt won, and this guy was second in command, and then Grunt's like, hey, go work with Shepard and get some training in. And then if Grunt died, you still don't get the party member because that's what you get. And I think it could be a great dynamic. This character could also be dependent on Rex. So if you sabotage the genophage, you keep this party member, I guess, unless Rex finds out you sabotaged the genophage, in which case you have to kill him, or Rex pulls him away from your company before you're forced to kill him because he doesn't want the guy to die, or you lose the party member. It would be one of the most sensitive party members because now if Grunt dies, you don't get him, and if you sabotage the genophage with Rex alive, you don't get him, giving him 2 loss conditions. But I mean, Ashley and Kaden can die in 1 and in 3, and you can reject their recruitment in 3. Javik's completely missable due to Day 1 DLC, and then Garrus and Tali can both die in 2. So I don't think it would be a problem if he had 2 missing opportunities. I think it would kind of just make him more exclusive, but also there's nothing wrong with things being difficult to achieve or not achievable in every single route in RPGs. BioWare used to do that all the time, so I think it would really be fine by most players. Moving on to Andromeda, I think the party member that we most needed would have been an older and wiser teammate. Now, we got Vetra, who's pretty wise, and we got Drac, who's pretty old. But both of them come with a very playful and lighthearted and younger personality. And Drac does function as the grandpa of the team, and in some ways, Vetra's kind of the crew mom. But I think we could have gotten that and taken an extra mile with it. Like, for this one, I'm also thinking a Solarian, but someone who is supposedly by the books. You expect this person to follow the rules, and they seem like they do, except every chance they get to not, they're doing whatever they want. But they don't do it in that same light and free-spirited way that Ryder does. They do it in a way that seems more calm and sophisticated. Very specifically, I'm thinking about a character who we meet after saving the Solarian Ark, and someone we meet for one quest line with Salen. Salen is very lawful, literally handles things by the law, but also refuses to do things if he finds evil in it. Dr. Aiden was selling Solarians to the Ket for his own survival, and he offers you that research if you let him go free. But Salen, the detective, would rather take Dr. Aiden in and lose all of that data than let this man walk free after what he's done and use data that came from such dark and devastating places. I think that could have been a great loyalty mission, where in Andromeda you get the character's loyalty either way. It could be something where we have to really fight with him about, kind of like in Jaws, you can really hurt his feelings. Drac, it's not his loyalty mission, but you get the chance to really shut him down during the Solarian Arc level. So we could have had that mission where we can really mess with Salen after this and make him question his role on the team, and at the end of the day he comes back and he's like, you know what, this is what happens, like, I'm older than you guys, you're going to make mistakes, but you're still my leader. I should use this as a teaching opportunity, not as a judging opportunity, whatever. And I think that could have been a great arc to have, because these characters all sort of function without a mentor figure in their lives. Even Drac, who's the oldest, was thrown out and told he should die. The closest he has to someone to ever take care of him is his adopted granddaughter. So I think Salen coming in late game as the new mentor figure, and by the time he joins, everyone else kind of has their footing already. So he's mentoring us, but he also doesn't have the position to do that anymore. I personally find he would be a very interesting addition, but even if not him, someone from the Solarian arc I wish would have joined us. Alright, so looking through what I feel is missing in the 4 games as far as companions go, I think that Mass Effect 5 is not going to give us a wise sort of figure. Maybe they'll give us a wise, but not a wise / mentoring type. The other thing that we can notice is that 3 of the games didn't give us a Solarian companion, despite Solarians being one of the most recurring races in the game. And then also from 2 and 3, I've noticed that we don't really get the soldier type all that often. Wait, yeah, we do. We don't usually get the soldiering type if they're not human. So I think Mass Effect 5 will finally give us a Batarian companion that we've all been waiting for. But I think we won't have a Solarian fighting at our side. And we won't have a non-human by the books character. So my prediction is that after Mass Effect 5, I'll be saying we should have had a Solarian by the books, rule-abiding character who would be our viewpoint into not Solarian culture that we're used to from Mass Effect, but Solarian/Council culture of the future of Mass Effect. Assuming Mass Effect 5 is in roughly 600 years, a lot of things will have changed post-Reaper War, and I think that it would be nice to have a character who is very, very rule-abiding to this new culture and doesn't care about the old way and doesn't care about making a new way. He wants things to be the way they are now, and I don't think we're going to have that. That is my guess, locking that in. Thank you for hanging out with me for this video. I wanted to take the ending of this video to say thank you to everyone who's been watching me. I know it's not all too many people yet, but it was enough to help me become a BioWare Gear Store brand ambassador. And one of the first things I did on this channel was talk about Mass Effect, so taking that to the BioWare Gear Store is incredible to me. So thank you to everyone who supported me and helped me get there, and to anyone who is watching now. Stick around. In the meantime, I highly recommend you check out the BioWare Gear Store with the link in the description to this video, where you can check out their wares and collectibles and other merchandise for Mass Effect and Dragon Age and other BioWare games. I'm also putting a coupon code in the description to this video to help you get 20% off of whatever you order there. Thank you very much, and until the next time I see you.